question, Senator Nocton.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach, and I would like to welcome the Minister in here and thank him for addressing this important issue. The most recent figures available from the Department of Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation indicate that the IDA has not achieved its 50% investment targets for areas outside Dublin and Cork. In fact, investment outside those two areas in the period of 2010 to 2013 amounted to only 35% of all foreign direct investment announcements. The IDA Ireland strategy for the period of 2010 to 2014, Horizon 2020, set a regional economic development target of 50% of investments in regions outside of Dublin and Cork. In fact, this figure was vastly undershot, and only 35% of all announcements in the three-year period to 2013 were in areas outside Dublin and Cork. The actual monetary amounts in grant aid involved reveal the disparity in much starker detail. In the 3 years to the end of 2012, the IDA gave grant payments to its client companies in Dublin totalling €111,620,999. Cork received €49,520,980, while Galway lagged well behind, receiving €35,808,683, and Limerick receiving even less again. I understand that under the Action Plan for Jobs 2014, IDA Ireland and Enterprise Ireland are working with the Department of Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation to develop a framework for a regional enterprise strategy in order to better integrate the work of the various state agencies involved, in conjunction with an analysis by Forfos of the FDI strategy. I would like to know where these projects are at in their development. And rather than have simple potshots, I think we should be very honest. Young, high-earning tech workers, by and large, wish to locate to cosmopolitan areas. Our manufacturing base is changing, and it's increasingly difficult to attract jobs in what was the traditional industrial production sector. China, India and the East are fast expanding into that area. And the days of the local TD being able to organise a factory to open in the local town and village are long gone, and anyone who suggests otherwise is merely playing politics. Our new areas of excellence are due to our young workforce being able to compete in knowledge terms in the areas of research, finance and technology and their related services. While I acknowledge the attraction of Dublin and Cork as locations for investment, other areas have a huge amount to offer. Dublin and Cork are not the only areas in Ireland able to offer cosmopolitan living. The recent sod turning of the remaining motorway between Galway and Gort will bring a major international airport within an hour's drive of Galway, and also make the commute between Galway and Limerick very easy. We also have Knock International Airport on the doorstep, as well as a first-class motorway to Dublin from both Galway and Limerick. Galway is a hub for the medical device industry, with Ireland fast becoming increasingly recognised as a major player in the area. Galway is also well known for its cultural attractions and many festivals. While I welcome the IDA resuming building in regional locations, particularly the recent announcement of the construction of the two advanced technology buildings in the Midlands and South East, I wonder, is there any plans for any similar development along the western seaboard? There is an enormous imbalance in our present system and the need for a much greater concentration of regional development in our foreign direct investment strategy. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Senator Nocton for raising this important issue. I think to some degree in her own speech she did underline some of the difficulties that faces IDA in getting a regional spread, in that a lot of what has been mobile investment in recent years has been high-tech, high-skill, research-related investment. And that has, to a large degree, been focused on cities that have that offer that environment. Now, just looking at the figures, Galway is not, if you like, doing particularly badly. I mean, I see it's had major employment expansion on the IDA front in each of the last 3 years. So, you know, Galway is a very competitive urban environment in that context. But I think Senator Nocton raised the wider issue of the ambition that the IDA had set back in its original strategy of 50% new investments in regions outside of Dublin and Cork, and it hasn't been able to achieve that. The results for 2013 at 30% were ahead of the outcome of 25% in 2012. Clearly, we would like to do better in this area. And as the Senator has acknowledged, to that end, we are looking at a broad-based regional enterprise strategy. Now, I would say that in looking at regional enterprise strategies, we have to have a realistic view of what the role of foreign investment is also. I mean, foreign investment represents overall in Ireland about 8% of employment. 92% of employment is in other areas. And I think all too often the debate about the need to develop successful regions tends to revolve around getting IDA companies. It's certainly my ambition to win IDA companies, but to develop a really strong indigenous engine of growth. And in that context, I would have to say that the West has been particularly successful in identifying medical devices as a sector where not only has it attracted some of the big international players who we know about, but it has also developed a very strong indigenous subsector. And in many ways, it is one of the best examples of a cluster where we have both the international players and the domestic players. And, I think we need to look at sectors where regions have a competitive advantage. And that does mean looking at traditional areas of strength like food, like tourism, but also new areas of strength like medical devices, like ICT, and seeking to identify where regions have competitive advantage and build on that competitive advantage. Now, obviously within that, we are, as you rightly pointed out, we've reviewed the FDI strategy, and we have, four of us has done work in that area, and that's very close to completion. And hopefully that will help us identify areas of mobile investments that we could win that would have competitive, if you like, fit with the competitive advantage of different regions. In order to promote that sort of thinking, we've already got the IDA focuses on emerging companies who are making, if you like, their first non-US, typically, or non-European in some other cases, their first move outside of their home base. And we've sought to identify those as ones who will probably be willing to look at regional locations more favourably than others. We've also developed Connect Ireland as a way of using, if you like, regional contacts that people have to be part of the instruments for attracting foreign investment. We've also, as you know, fought off efforts at EU level to narrow down the amount of regional aid that we could give. The EU's initial proposal was for just 25% of the country being eligible for regional aid. We, if you like, succeeded in reversing that and actually have won 51%. So we've been able to bring in this year Kerry and also individual locations in Athy, in Arklow, there were three locations, Kells and Athy, those are the three, which has been, if you like, has allowed us to give regional aid in those. And that is an important tool to both Enterprise Ireland and IDA in seeking to develop a better regional spread. We also fought off efforts at the EU level at that stage to withdraw all aid to larger companies in the regions. That was their initial proposal. So we have, if you like, protected that. I do believe also that we as public representatives in all of our areas need to look much more at entrepreneurship itself and the development of entrepreneurship within our areas and regions. And we have put in place the local enterprise offices, which in my view are a very good model. They're rooted in a service level agreement with Enterprise Ireland. Enterprise Ireland is the centre of excellence developing new policy. but they have a local presence with the local authorities, so they, if you like, bring the might of the local authorities to bear on creating an environment that supports startup. So, I mean, while I acknowledge that we would like to do better in the IDA area, and we'll continue to if you like, seek to develop ways of doing that, we also want a broader discussion of, the challenges of developing a strong enterprise sector in regions based on their competitive advantage. And I think we have to broaden that debate out from just, saying, can we win a mobile investment? It is a much more deep debate that we need to have, in my view. And I hope that, by establishing a regional enterprise framework, we'll be able to sit down with the stakeholders in each region and start to, if you like, have that broader debate, which of course is essential also to the winning of additional foreign investment. We need to put our best foot forward in each region.